Hello and welcome to day 2 of the 20-day mindfulness challenge. I hope that you guys had a great first day where we focused in on becoming aware of our thoughts and pulling ourselves back into the present moment through breath, which can be a very cleansing process. Today, we're going to dive a little bit deeper into mindfulness and really try to figure out how to shift from the thinking mind versus the sensing mind. So if you think about it, and we talked about it yesterday a little bit, where, a lot of us are just kind of lost in our own head. We're constantly thinking about the past, the future, and, what that does is it really neglects us from our current present moment. And when you have negativity that's attached to those things in the past or the future, and you're kind of dwelling over them, what those thoughts do is they generate negative emotions. And it can be kind of like a big roller coaster in life if you're constantly thinking about negative things and you're pulled into these negative emotions and you get lost in your mind and you're not really able to get out of it. So that's where, mindfulness is a powerful tool because it helps you to draw yourself into the present moment. And when you're drawn into the present moment and you kind of judge that moment non-judgmentally and you just kind of experience it, you sense it, you're moving away from the thinking mind to a sensing mind, a sensing state of being. Because the mind is always going to take in information, it's going to analyze it, and it's going to try to come up with an output or multiple outputs. And, some of the greatest thinkers of our time, such as Einstein, said, some of his best ideas came when he was able to just clear his mind and pull himself into the present moment. Or he was able to just kind of withdraw from thinking about something over and over and over again to just kind of just clearing the space, giving your mind space in order to figure something out. You'll be amazed of how that helps. And so the sensing mind it's a really simple concept, right? So when we say thinking mind versus sensing mind, the sensing mind is really drawing ourselves back into our 5 senses. So the way that we do that is, we take in the 5 senses one by one, and we really focus in on what's occurring for us right now. So as an example, I would say, what do I see right now? And we talked about this a little bit yesterday. This is the process of open monitoring. But it's also kind of focusing your attention on one thing at a time. So if you focus in via the sensing mind, you're using both open monitoring and you're doing focused attention. So the first one is, what do I see? And try not to look at things that are obvious. Look at what you're seeing and focus in on the details of something. Like, for example, right now, I'm focusing out a window and I see Christmas lights. And in particular, I see a vibrant red Christmas light. Right? You get my point. So try to focus in on, 5 or less things using your seeing ability. The next one is, what do you feel? Now that's a fun one, right? So what do you feel right now? Do you feel a pin in your hand? Do you feel a tightness in your chest? I know that for me personally, as I got deeper into mindfulness and I became more mindful of the way that my body was reacting, I could actually start to sense emotions dwelling up inside of me and what that would cause. And a lot of times those, negative emotions like anxiety or worry or whatnot, they would usually cause something to come through in my chest, kind of like a tightness in my chest. So it's very interesting to go through and identify 5 or less things that you can feel at this moment. The third thing is, what do you taste? Try to see, usually you can probably taste one thing, right? But try to see what you taste in your mouth. What sort of taste is coming through? Are you drinking a cold glass of water? Did you drink a hot tea? Did you taste garlic in your mouth? There's a lot of different tastes that we're not really aware of all the time. The next thing is, what do you hear? So in this case, what's coming through to us of the noises that are coming through right now? What do we hear? Rain outside? Do we hear a dog barking? I mean, there's so many different things that can come through with sound. And a lot of times, we just live our life and we're not really completely aware of what's going on there, right? We're not completely aware of the sounds and the beauty that surrounds us. And when you just kind of do the sensory and you try to listen in to what the sounds are, you're going to be totally amazed of what comes through for you. So I had to look here about the last one because I always get confused of what the 5 senses are. So forgive me. The last one is smell. So as we go through and, we have done the sight, we have done the hearing, we have done the taste, and we've done the feeling, the last sense is smell. So what are you smelling right now? I know for me, as I take a deep breath, I smell cinnamon, I smell, peanut butter, whatever you smell. And the important thing of this is, sometimes what we smell or these 5 senses can not always be something pleasant, right? We could feel pain when we're doing our feeling. We could smell, a bad smell. But the process of mindfulness is that we are non-judgmental to it. And what you're going to see is that this process really pulls you into the sensing mind, and it pulls you into the present moment. And it's something that we can do periodically through the day if we want to go through our 5 senses and figure out, can we to get like a checkpoint in our day of what's going around us. And it's a beautiful process to go through, because going through this 5 sensing exercise really, at least for me, it makes me feel very alive and very present. And I'm always amazed of, what comes through for me, like what things that, I walk by a room every day and, what I notice there, what sounds come through. Sitting outside, like I hear all these birds and, you can even hear crackling in the woods or whatever. And you just don't really appreciate all of the details of life because we're all up in our head, right? We're always lost in thought. So day 2 is about using your sensing mind as opposed to your thinking mind. And this just takes time. It takes time to develop the skill of pulling yourself back into the present moment, right? And this is another way that you can do it by, focusing in on what's going on around you and using your 5 senses to your benefit. So